Team USA wins the gold medal in men's basketball, defeating France in a thriller. The USA men's basketball team on Saturday won its fifth straight Olympic gold medal, defeating a spirited French team 98-87. Behind Stephen Curry's 24 points, the Americans finally put away France in the final minute after a back-and-forth game that thrilled the fans at Paris-Bercy Arena. Going into the fourth quarter, the Americans had seen a 14-point lead shrink to 6. That lead narrowed still in the fourth quarter, with the French getting it down to 3 at one point with only minutes to play. "We just kept our composure," LeBron James said after the game. "We have been in some tight games throughout the preliminary games, and we had a tight game against Serbia, so we knew we were going to get everybody's biggest punch, so it was all about staying composed and willing our way to victory." And it was Curry who took over. With 4 massive dagger threes in the final minutes, the greatest three-point shooter in NBA history capped off his first-ever Olympics with a vintage performance that had the French team reeling. It was a disappointing end to a terrific tournament for the host nation, which had defeated Canada and Germany en route to the final. The French fans at these Olympics have been incredible throughout in rooting for their home athletes, but the unique atmosphere of a French basketball game combined with the usual fervent support made for an electric Bercy Arena through much of Saturday night's game. Even in the final minutes as Curry put their team away, the French fans reacted with a mixture of shock, awe, frustration, and heartbreak. The Golden State Warriors' star simply would not be denied, and the French will take solace in the fact that it took Curry going to his highest highs to defeat them. The game started off on fire with both teams trading the lead back and forth, the game flying from one end to the court to the other. Neither team was willing to back down. The Americans from the raucous crowd, the French from the incredible group of talent opposite them, and it made for a tight contest throughout the first half. The French took the lead for the final time in the second quarter on an 8-0 run, but Devin Booker, quietly one of the best players on this American team throughout the whole tournament, hit a three to re-establish the lead. Team USA would not trail again. But there were moments still when it seemed like the French might cause their fans to blow the roof off of the arena with their noise, and few moments were louder than when Gershon Yabusele put LeBron James on a poster with a dunk in the closing stages of the second quarter. After a buzzer beater to end the half, the American lead was 8, but the French opened the third quarter cold and the USA jumped out to a 14-point advantage. The interplay between James, Curry, and Kevin Durant was something that most American basketball fans had only dreamed of, 3 of the best superstars of their generation going full tilt on the same team, not playing at the one-quarter speed of an NBA All-Star game. James, in his golden sneakers, had moments where he seemed likely to take the game over as he had so many times during this Olympic run. But in the end, it was France that made the clutch run as Victor Wembanyama, having his best game of the tournament, helped Les Blues narrow the U.S. lead to 6 after 3 quarters. Wembanyama would finish with 26 points. The quality of play deteriorated somewhat in the fourth as the pace got ever more frantic heading into the closing stages. The French refused to go away, staying within a couple possessions until making a charge in the second half of the quarter. With their typical stifling defense, the French team got within 3 points of the U.S. France found something the last couple games, changing the rotation, their starting lineup, really, being physical at every position, USA coach Steve Kerr said. "And I thought they did a great job in the fourth quarter of putting pressure on us, And, they finished the third quarter strong too. There were several moments where it felt like we were going to push it from 10 to 15 and we were going to be in the clear. We just couldn't get there. But then it was Curry time." French coach Vincent Collet will go to bed after this game wondering how his team could let the best shooter of his generation have so many open looks in the closing minutes of such an important game. With so many talented American players on the court, it's often been a case of pick your poison for opposing coaches throughout this tournament. It's not an accident that they're able to do what they do down the stretch of games. The work, just watching these two guys, day after day after day is really impressive, Kerr said of the hard work Durant, Curry, and other players put in. In the end, Curry's shots were simply lethal. He pounded. Pre-game context. The build-up to the gold medal game between Team USA and France was filled with anticipation. The teams had already faced each other in the group stage, where France handed the USA a rare loss, raising questions about the Americans' dominance in international basketball. France's victory was seen as a turning point in the tournament, giving them the confidence that they could compete with the world's best. On the other hand, Team USA, laden with NBA stars, was under pressure to reassert their supremacy and prove that the earlier loss was a fluke. Leading into the final, Team USA had regained their rhythm, defeating strong opponents in Spain and Australia. However, the French team, with its mix of NBA talent and seasoned European players, posed a significant threat. The stage was set for an intense and closely contested final, with both teams aiming to capture the gold medal. First quarter, a strong start for France. The game began with France coming out aggressively, eager to replicate their earlier success against Team USA. Rudy Gobert was a force in the paint, using his size and defensive prowess to disrupt the Americans' offense. France's perimeter shooting was also sharp, with Evan Fournier and Nando de Colorado hitting early three-pointers to establish an early lead. Team USA, on the other hand, started somewhat sluggishly. Despite their star power, the Americans struggled to find their rhythm. Kevin Durant, however, kept them in the game with his scoring ability, hitting several tough shots to prevent France from pulling too far ahead. The first quarter ended with France holding a narrow lead, leaving the American team with some work to do. Second quarter, USA begins to fight back. In the second quarter, Team USA began to assert themselves. Their defense tightened up, with Drew Holiday and Draymond Green leading the charge. The Americans forced several turnovers, which led to fast break opportunities and easy points. Kevin Durant continued to be the focal point of the offense, scoring from all areas of the court and showing why he was the leader of this team. France, however, did not back down. Gobert continued to dominate the boards, and Fournier remained a constant threat from beyond the arc. The French team's ball movement was crisp, and they were able to find open looks against the USA's aggressive defense. Despite the Americans' improved play, France managed to maintain a slim lead heading into halftime. Third quarter, Durant takes over. The third quarter was when Kevin Durant truly took over the game. Sensing the need for leadership, Durant elevated his play to another level. He hit a series of three-pointers and mid-range jumpers, seemingly scoring at will against the French defense. Durant's scoring outburst helped Team USA overcome the deficit and take the lead for the first time in the game. Team USA's defense also stepped up in the third quarter. They forced France into difficult shots and were able to limit Gobert's effectiveness inside. The Americans began to control the tempo of the game, pushing the pace whenever possible and making it difficult for France to set up their defense. By the end of the third quarter, Team USA had built a solid lead, but France was still within striking distance. Fourth quarter, a thrilling finish. The fourth quarter was a roller coaster of emotions as France made a spirited comeback. Nicolas Batum hit a couple of big shots, and Gobert continued to battle inside, drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. France's defense also tightened, and they forced Team USA into several turnovers, cutting the lead to just a few points. With the game on the line, it was again Kevin Durant who stepped up for Team USA. He made crucial baskets down the stretch, including a deep three-pointer that gave the Americans some breathing room. France had a chance to tie or win the game in the final seconds, but a missed three-pointer by Fournier sealed their fate. Team USA held on to win the game 87-82, capturing the gold medal in what was one of the most exciting and closely contested Olympic basketball finals in recent history. Player performances. Kevin Durant was undoubtedly the star of the game, finishing with a game-high 29 points. His ability to score in clutch moments was the difference for Team USA, and he solidified his legacy as one of the greatest players in Olympic basketball history. Drew Holiday also played a key role, particularly on the defensive end, where he was tasked with guarding France's best perimeter players. For France, Rudy Gobert was a dominant presence in the paint, finishing with a double-double and causing problems for the USA's big men. Evan Fournier was the leading scorer for France, continuing his strong play throughout the tournament. Despite their efforts, France fell just short of the gold medal, but their performance earned them respect on the international stage.